A rifle sling is not something you want to overlook in this day and age. The right sling can aid you in a multitude of ways. It carries the weight, keeps the rifle sturdy on your body, speeds up your transitions, and gives you an optional fourth point of contact for steadier shots. Today, I'm going to walk you through on why a sling matters and also some of the most popular sling types, and then we're going to dive into some of the slings that I've used and which ones I've deemed to be my favorites and some that aren't bad but aren't on my favorite list. Now, this is not all the slings that are on the market. These are just the slings that I've used personally, and I'm going to explain my ideology and thought process when transitioning from sling to sling. Before we get too far in this video, I want to let you guys know that if you're just getting into firearms training, I do have an ebook called the Fundamental Range Day Guide. And within that document, you'll find a ton of drills you can run at an indoor or outdoor range. I did my best to take some of the hard work off your shoulders by consolidating a lot of drills into one comprehensive package. And you can take this with you to the range so you can work on different fundamentals that will help progress your shooting abilities. So the link will be down below if you're interested. I also want to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. If you want to support this channel, you can join our Patreon. You'll get some behind the scene looks and some notifications about what projects I'm working on in the future. So thank you for you guys. All right, that's enough talking. Let's get back to the video. A sling is more than just a strap. It's a force multiplier. It frees up your hands when you need them for radios, breaching, or carrying gear, while keeping the rifle immediately available. It keeps the rifle attached to you so it doesn't get lost, dropped, or taken in a struggle. For the majority of us, it's convenient just to have a sling for those long range days. Having to stow your rifle on a table or a rifle bench every time you want to put it down can get pretty annoying. I'd much rather have all my gear on me at the range so I'm not walking back and forth, increasing the time between strings of fire and training. The combination of retention, ease of use, and stability is why slings are an essential piece of gear for most shooters. You want to have a way to go hands-free if the situation demands it, and you don't want to risk being separated from your primary in the process. So let's break down the common types of slings that you would see out in the field. First one being single point slings. A single point sling attaches to one point on your rifle and offers a lot of mobility, which in tight spaces is very helpful. And this could be in a small structure or in a vehicle. The downside is obvious though. The rifle can swing and pendulum away from you. For the most part, the industry has moved away from this type of sling, and you're better off running a 2-point sling over a single point sling. And there are many reasons why. As the name implies, the 2-point sling attaches to 2 points of your rifle and are the most versatile choice for most people. They distribute the weight well and avoid excessive swing when properly adjusted. I find the rifle to be the most stable in this configuration, and it is highly versatile depending on how you set it up. A lot of these 2-point slings offer quick ways to adjust them on the fly, which is super handy if you're switching between actively using your rifle and stowing it. If you need something for hiking, patrol, or competition where comfort and an intuitive way of carry matters, a 2-point sling is usually the right answer. Now let's look at the 4 slings that I personally own and use and why they were designed the way they are. I'll go over some of the key features of each of these slings, and I'll go over some of the negatives as well, or why I switched from a particular sling. The first sling I ever got was the Warrior Poet Society rifle sling. Although it still functions the way that it was designed, it's actually my least favorite sling out of the bunch. And that's not because it's a bad quality sling, because if I'm being honest, this is probably the highest quality sling out of all of these. But it doesn't do what I need it to do. The people behind making the sling, which is Warrior Poet Society, wanted a solution to have a rifle being able to stay high and tight on the body, but still allows rapid movement and quick transitions. To do that, they blend a bit of stretch into the design and use hardware that makes cinching and releasing intuitive. So as you can see, this is a very stretchy sling. And then the quick release right here, which I'm a huge fan of, is very robust. So you can't just break it, you actually have to pull the tab and you're able to detach the sling immediately. And it has a magnet, so if you want to put it back together, it automatically goes back into place. But unfortunately, I never really found a way to set this up that works the way I needed it to. If I adjust it to keep my rifle tight against my body, then the tension was too tight for me to present the rifle. But if I adjusted it so I could present my rifle, then it was too loose when I decided to let it hang from my body. This is when I started to realize the value of having an adjustable sling over something like this. Now, obviously, I can fix this by adjusting the sling to have good retention to the body and then swimming in and out of the sling for maneuverability. but the main selling point was for you to not have to remove one arm from the sling and to be able to use the rifle effortlessly while it was still attached to your body. I'm a huge fan of what John and his team do over at Warrior Poet Society, and they do make a lot of great products. But unfortunately, this sling just didn't work for me, and it caused me to move over to my next sling. The next one we're gonna talk about is the Edgar Sherman ESD sling. The ESD focuses on function and simplicity. Their sling emphasizes a smooth, low profile, quick adjust, and elastic regulator that pulls the rifle into position against your body. The design minimizes bulky hardware and gives you intuitive, repeatable length changes, so the sling is where you need it every single time. It's light, unobtrusive, and perfect for daily carry or class environments where clean adjustability matters. This is the sling I have the most time out of all of these slings. Simply put, it just works. It's a very clean design and it seems to do just about everything right. I really like how easy it is to move the adjustment tab, and honestly, I think this is a great sling for a variety of people. It's definitely one of my top slings in the market, and I don't think you can go wrong with getting this one. Now, if the ESD sling was so good, why did I continue to look for other options? Well, that's because the more I got into training, the longer my training days became. And if you know me, I really enjoy full-length rifle setups. And some of these setups can get pretty heavy depending on what I'm trying to configure them for. And with this sling, the weight was directly transferring to my shoulders. And this is where I decided that I wanted to try using a padded sling. After doing some quick research, I came across the Lunar Concepts contour sling. With their contour sling, the padded section is actually shaped in a way to where it contours around your shoulder, so it reduces the sling moving up and down on your body. As the name implies, the sling contours around your back and shoulders, giving you tremendous amount of comfort. You're also able to adjust the sling, and I really like the adjustment method because it's fairly easy to manipulate. They've got a pull tab right here that is just as smooth and easy to move as the Edgar Sherman design. The materials and construction focus on durability and comfort, which is a real advantage when spending a whole day in the field. If you want something for sustained carry that reduces fatigue and improves steadiness, this is the sling that pays dividends over time. And though it's an excellent sling, it's not the final sling that I landed on. My only gripe about this sling is that it gets pretty thick around the contoured section. I found that when I was manipulating my gun around objects, the sling would sometimes get in my way when remounting my rifle. It didn't happen a lot, but it happened enough to where I was starting to miss using the ESD sling. Again, this is amazing, but what I was looking for was something very specific. And with this last sling we're about to talk about, I do believe I found what I was looking for. So this last sling is the Flatline Fiber Co. padded sling. Flatline took a minimalist approach with high quality and hand finished construction. Their OG padded sling keeps the profile slim while adding a simple yet comfortable pad for extended wear. It's a good product with good materials, solid hardware, and reliable performance. After some time, I realized that this is the sling that does everything that I need perfectly. It wasn't too thick or too wide, and I found it to be easy to use with all forms of kit and gear, whether I'm using this with my chest rig, plate carrier, or just running it slick. You also get an adjustment tab so that you can adjust this on the fly, just like the other popular slings. Now, I will say the adjustment tab isn't as smooth as the ESD sling, but it really doesn't take that much effort to adjust this. I just noticed that it's a little tougher than the Edgar Sherman design. I really like this sling, and it's been my go-to for months now. I really don't see myself switching slings anytime soon for practical reasons, but I did see that Flatline Fiber Co. dropped a new sling that has a more modern design when it comes to their pull tab. That might be something I check out since it would eliminate any excess material hanging off my person. But yeah, this sling is amazing, and if you're looking for a padded sling, I would highly recommend this one. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how I actually set up my slings on my rifle. Now, when you decide to set up your sling, it's completely up to you where you want to attach the endpoints. For the most part, I like having my sling attached towards the rear of my handguard and then at the back of my lower receiver on the end plate. I like this because it gives me the most maneuverability without the sling getting in my way. I'm able to stow my rifle tight while still having the ability to use my firearm without adjusting my sling. For 90% of what I do, this method works for me. But if I were needing to sling my rifle over my shoulder and onto my back for a longer period of time, then that might not be the best method. And this is because even though the sling will be more secure than a 1-point sling setup, it will still move a good bit when doing explosive and more high intense movements. And in that case, attaching the sling a little further down the handguard and on either side of your stock will provide a much more stable platform to work with. I still run my Zion that way, and it works tremendously. A sling gives you carry, retention, and stability. All the slings that I mentioned, the Warrior Poet, the ESD, Lunar Contour, and the Flatline OG padded sling, all solve the same problem in different ways. So pick the one that speaks to you the most. For the most part, my top 2 picks are the ESD sling and the Flatline padded sling. There are many more slings out there that I'm sure are superb for what they are created to do, but these are the slings that I personally have experience with. And like I said, I have thousands of rounds through all of these slings. So this wasn't an overnight analysis, this was over the course of 3 or 4 years. But let me know your rifle sling setups down below because I love learning about new products that are out on the industry. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.